and come to America?
I was 14 years old.
How come you left, Gramp? What made you leave?
The reason I left because I had two brothers in America, which they came here about 10 years before I did. So my father and mother decided to send me and my brother, which is much older than I was, to America to meet the two brothers, stay a few years, and go back to Italy again.
When you left, Gramp, what was it like on the way over? Like you were with your brother. What was it like?
Well,
what do you remember?
it was a nice trip. We went to the capital of our town in Palermo, and we took a boat and we traveled in America.
What was the boat ride like, Gramp? I mean,
The boat ride was nice. I mean, I didn't suffer any seasickness. It was good.
Were you
as
treated
far as
well,
I can
or were you
remember.
just like loaded onto a boat? I mean, were you treated like an?
Oh yes, the treat was fine.
It was
The
fine.
treat was fine. Yes.
You didn't come as a tourist, did you? Gramp, when you left, when you arrived in America, was there someone there to meet you? Were your brothers there to meet you?
My two brothers were there to meet me.
And where did they take you? Where did you go? What was the living conditions
Well,
like
they
here?
met me in New York City. Then we took the train and we came to Rochester, where my two brothers were residing.
Rochester?
Rochester. We came to Rochester, where the two brothers were residing.
Was it a lot different from home? When you came here, was it entirely different?
No, it wasn't actually. It was a very different. Of course, the town that I come from was a very small town. There wasn't nothing there. Just farm district.
This is in
Was
Italy.
nothing there. Small town.
So this was entire. You'd never seen.
Oh yeah, this was altogether different.
What did you do? Okay, Gramp. What happened after that? You arrived here.
Well, I arrived here and was very happy to meet the two brothers after and seen them for quite a while. And 3 days after I landed here, so I got me a job in a shoe factory, E.P. Reed and Company.
What was that like, Gramp? You were only 14.
Well,
what did they have to
naturally,
do?
I liked it. And the pay was $3 a week.
How many hours a week did you have to work?
That was about 10 hours a day.
And only $3 a week, Gramp?
And I was very happy actually to earn money, because in the old country never saw money. It was a scarce thing. My father owned a couple of farms, and we raised everything that we needed in life, and that's it. So money was a rare thing down there. So after we stayed here a few months, and we started to send money, my brother and I, we started to send money to my father and mother in the old country.
You started sending them money for them to live for better or whatever.
Yes.
How long did you work in your job in the shoe factory, Gramp?
Oh, I worked there. I don't remember very, very well, but anyway, I must work there probably a year and a half. See? And after that, I got another job in a candy factory, Rochester Marshmallow Company. There I got $5 a week.
How many hours did you work there, Gramp?
Oh, I worked there 10 hours the same as any other place. I was very happy because I was getting more money.
$5 a week now?
$5 a week, yes. And I worked there for quite a while.
You worked there. Gramp, were the people in America, did they treat you like an immigrant? Did you take a lot of abuse in your job?
As far as the treatment, I mean, I can't remember any mistreatment. I think we were treated perfectly all right.
You were?
Yeah, we weren't mistreated at all. We were treated kindly and everything else. Only there was a certain amount of discrimination. See, which of course we didn't pay too much attention.
It was the same thing as the way the blacks are being treated today. It was basically the same thing.
Well, I would say so, yes. Of course, every nationality has been discriminated in this country from the very beginning. The Germans and the Polish and the Jews and everybody else have been discriminated.
Gramp, was it a big adjustment to make the way of life? I mean, it was obviously vastly different. I mean, but was it a really big adjustment? Well, you had your brothers with you. You lived with your brothers? You just all lived together?
Oh, yes, yes.
What was the housing like, Gramp? Could you live very well?
We lived in comfortable homes. We were okay because my two brothers were working and they had money. So we lived okay. Then the other brother and I, the one who came with me, he went to work in the freight house, Rochester freight house, and he was making pretty fair money. So, I mean, we were getting along pretty good.
So you must have had a hard time, though, Gramp, because you were younger. Were there a lot of jobs that you couldn't get because of your age?
Jobs?
Jobs.
No. I mean, I got these two jobs and that's it. There was no hardship at all to find a job for me. First in the shoe factory, then in the candy factory, and after that, my brothers and I started in business.
What did you do, Gramp?
Well, we started in the beer business. You know, buy bottled beer and then sell it to different people.
And how long did that last, Gramp?
That lasted for quite a while.
What year do you remember what year, Gramp?
Well, I think we must have started in the beer business in 1900. 1908.
1908.
And we kept on going. Used to buy the beer from the brewery, already bottled. But then our business got so big that we decided that we bottle our own beer so we could make more money on it. So we started with one bottling plant at the corner of Wagaman and Union Street. Of course, that wasn't big enough after a while. So then my brothers and I built a place at the corner of Niagara and Pennsylvania Avenue, which was much bigger. From that time on, that's when we progressed in doing business. We had a horse and wagon, and later on we bought a truck. So we used to paddle the beer with a truck.
And then why?
So after that, in 1918, of course, World War I broke out, I think, in 1914. So to this country then we got in later on, see. So naturally I was supposed to be drafted. But before I got drafted, I joined the Navy in 1918. And I was stationed in New York City at the foot of a 96th Street at Broadway. There, a friend of mine, Lieutenant Commander William Zimmer, was in charge. So, being from Rochester, where I was, and I knew him before I went in the Navy, he gave me a good job. He put me in charge of the supply of the ship. So, not having too much to do, they only supply whatever the sailors wanted. I had a lot of time of my own. So naturally, not knowing the English language, I spent all my time studying, trying to learn the language.
How did you do it, Graham? What did you use?
Well, I had a dictionary. I had one from Italian to English and one from English to Italian. So that's how I learned the English language. Otherwise, I never had time to go to school in this country.
You never
I
went to
only
school,
went to the 4th grade in the old country.
and that was as far as you got.
That's as far as education I got.
So, Graham, you just taught yourself, you just looked at the words and taught yourself through the dictionary? That's all you had?
Well, naturally.
And then through
through
people?
Practical, talking to people, practical, and naturally learning the words from the dictionary, you know, writing and reading and so on. See, that's really how I learned the language. But I never saw the inside of the school of all the years that I've been here.
So then what did you do after that, Graham? After the war and after your time was up? And how long exactly were you in the Navy? Do you remember?
Oh, as far as I can remember, I think I was in the Navy probably about 9 months. See? So after I was discharged from the Navy, I come home naturally to join my business again. And in the meantime, the country had gone dry. So naturally, we couldn't sell beer, we couldn't sell liquor, we couldn't sell nothing. Only what they call near beer. But that wasn't naturally stable enough. We didn't sell enough of it. People didn't buy enough of it.
It had no alcoholic content.
No alcoholic content, no. So we fussed around and didn't do so much. Then a couple of friends of mine, a fellow with the name Fred Hines and Fred Budd, put out a coal company, which at the time you had to buy the franchise to go in the coal business. So they put out a firm by the name of Van Ness. So they went in the coal business. So after a little while, they took me in as a third partner. So we went along, progressed, sold coal. And we had horse and wagons to deliver coal. And we bought trucks to deliver coal. So
Were you making very good money, Graham, then?
well, we were making pretty fair. See.
Had it gone up a great deal since, like, the candy factory? You were making a lot more than that, weren't you?
Oh, yes. Well, I thought I was satisfied because I was in business for myself, you see. And that's the thing that I wanted to do all the time, see. I wanted to be working for myself. I didn't want to work for anybody else, see. So we went along in that coal business for quite a while, see. So after a while, we were, at the beginning, we were three partners. After a while, was too much. I mean, we couldn't make it up to the three of us to make it worthwhile. See? So I bought out one of the partners. See? So then Fred, Bud, and I, we owned the Bud and Hines business. See? So we went a long few years, and
You changed the name, didn't you,
we
then, Graham?
changed the name to Beechwood Coal Company. Well, actually, while we were in the business, I started to play the stock market. See, which I bought different stocks and accumulated quite a little money, see, besides the business. So we went along nice, and until about 1929 or 30. So in 29 we had a tremendous depression. See, so that's all the money that I had invested in the stock market. You know, the stocks went down so much that I wasn't worth so much, see, because I only banked quite a little money. If I was buying stocks, I was buying them on margin. See, so naturally I only banked quite a little money.
But you lost all that money?
So as I went along, I lost all that I had in it, and the stock market. Plus, when I got through, I only banked quite a little money. In the meantime, in the depression time, somebody wanted to buy out Eastern Coal Company. So I decided to sell it. Since I learned the lesson that at the time to sell is what people want to buy, I figured, well, might as well sell out because I owe this money to the bank. I got some money for selling the business so I could pay the bank. And then actually I got a job for this other company, $80 a week.
$80 a week?
$80.
Was that a big drop from what you were making when you were on your own?
Oh, no, it was all right. I mean, it was all right. Well, I was satisfied, I mean, conditions really were bad in the country. See, a lot of people out of work. They had a WPA. Now people used to work for $1 an hour or whatever they could get, to earn a living. See, so I sold out, and they gave me a contract for 5 years. And paid me so much every month for selling the business. As I was receiving the money from selling the business, I used to take it to the bank because I owed them a lot of money. So after...
Do you remember how much you lost, Graham?
I lost $250,000. About $250,000 I lost.
And that's
All that I ever had.
You had to pay that all to the bank?
Well, some was mine, some that belonged to the bank. So when I got through, then I paid the bank all the money that I got from selling the business. I owed the bank about $82,000. I was rich. I didn't have any other way to pay it. I mean, I wasn't making enough, $80 a week I could live. See? So after that, I owed it back to this money.
Were you married? Did you have a family then, Graham?
No.
Or were you still on your own? You were...
No. So I knew the president of the bank, a very good friend of mine. See? So he told me not to worry. Things will come back, not to worry, not to worry. See? So, well, I kept on working and working. See? But I had in my mind I wanted to go in business again. I didn't want to work for anybody else. See? So while I was working, a representative from the coal company and I got together and schemed out a name and set out another business.
You started scheming it out?
Well, I mean, figured out while I was working for the other company, see. As I said, when my contract expired, I wasn't going to read in business for myself.
As soon as it expired, you were...
So, before my contract expired, I come out, incorporated the name of Selected Fuel Incorporated, and under some other name. See? So eventually when that come out in the paper, the company that I was working for surmised that I was behind that. See? So, well, then I lost my job. They fired me because I didn't live up to my contract.
But is that what you wanted to happen, Graham?
Actually, I want that to happen anyway, you see, so that was fine. So eventually, after I got fired, I went right into Selected Fuel, and that was the beginning of Selected Fuel.
And you started that on your own, Graham? So that was, in other words, when you left it, you got off your contract, and then you were just put right into this business. It was your own business then?
Oh yes, that was my own, and nobody else. No other partners.
Just you?
That's it.
And what did you do from there, Graham? What about this money that you owed the bank? Did you still, did you have a home to live in then? Were you here in this house then?
Yeah.
Oh, so you were married then when that happened?
Oh yes, I was married, yeah.
You had 3 children at that time? Was my father? Yes, I was married, I had children. Oh yes, I had 3 children. So you 2 were
girls
working,
and a boy.
So you were working the $80 a week and you had the family to support?
Well, I had, I had family, yes.
And so, but you got to live in this house. You kept this house.
Oh, yes.
But Graham, how did you live with just $80 a week and 3 kids and your wife?
Well, the sea conditions were different. It didn't cost too much money to live, you know. No good times, no luxuries and nothing. Just to live, that's it. Work and work and work, you know. Try to make ends meet. You see.
So, Grant, by the time you had your own business, so now this was the beginning of Selected Fuels.
That was, yes.
Did it go over well? I mean, obviously, because it's still a business
it went
today.
very well, you see, but eventually I wasn't making enough money to pay the bank. See? So I got together with the president of the bank at the time. I said, look, I said, Jack, I never be able to pay this bill. I suppose I'll see if I can raise some money somewhere, somehow, borrow or do something, and see how much I can raise, and then I'll tell you, maybe we can get together. Yes, he said, he's trying to do that. But actually, after a while, I went to the bank. I told them most I could raise it was $800. So, that's the best I could do. So the bank that took every note, said, Mark can pay $800 and clear the debt.
That's
Which I
how
was very, very, very fortunate.
they
They didn't sue me, they didn't put me into bankruptcy, so they treated me very, very, very well.
Oh, Grant, so
For $82,800.
that's all? Was $800?
Yeah,
I can't believe it.
that's right.
Did you
Well,
know this man, Grant? Did you know the president of the bank personally?
Very well.
And he just called it even?
I knew 4 presidents of the same bank, and I knew them very well. I more or less grew up with them. 4 of them. Bill Simpson, Alex Simpson, and Thomas, and Jack Jardine. Well, Jack Jardine is that took care of me. The less president of the bank.
Had you
The
been
others
friends
were all
with him?
died.
Had you been friends with him, Grant, since you came over in the beginning when you were?
Well, since I started to do business with them, yeah.
That is unbelievable, Grant. That's so good. So they treated you well.
Very, very, very well. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Anywhere to save me from going to bankruptcy, you know, and have that black mark on my name, which didn't happen.
Right. So then, Graham, so then you kept going with this business, electric fuels.
Oh yes, and I kept on going with electric fields, you know, right along, yeah.
Did you? How much did you make, Graham? Like in the beginning, were you making very much money then?
Well, Lee, I don't know. I mean, how much, but I was getting along pretty good. I was, you know, supporting the family, make a little money, and accumulating a little money too. You see.
What about the stock market then, Graham? Did you start doing that again? After,
Well,
weren't you scared to do it again, all over again?
no. See, after that, of course, I started to play the market again.
You thought it was worth it?
So after this day, I'm still playing it.
Okay, Graham, can you just remember one thing? When was the first time that you really felt like you were an American citizen? I mean, did you, obviously all this time, I mean, especially coming over at 14 years old, not being able to speak probably any English at all. And so you probably felt like an Italian, like you were an immigrant. You weren't part of this country.
No, I never paid much attention to that anyway. See, we were in America. In fact, when we first come here, we only come here to stay for about 3-4 years. Make some money and go back again. But after we got here, we like it so much that we forgot about going back. And that's it.
You never went back then, huh?
No. Only for vacation, 1958 and 1961. That's it.
That's unbelievable.
Of course, that time my mother was here, but my father died in the old country. He never come here. But my mother come here.
After he died?
After my father died, my mother come here and lived with us.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Was there any other children left at home, Graham?
No.
So you were the youngest?
I was the youngest, yeah. We were all here.
When did you get your citizenship, Graham?
Oh, really, I don't remember, but it must have been probably around 1910 or 12, I guess, something like that.
1910 or 12?
Yeah,
How old would you have been, Graham?
Huh?
How old?
How old was I then? Well,
20-something? In your 20s?
in the 20s or somewhere along in there, yeah.
So, did you ever really feel, though, finally, like, I'm really an American?
Well, no.
You just kind of...
Just were here working, and that's it. We're part of the country.
You just never... So you never really...
Especially after I went into service, and come back, why...
You felt like you were really...
Oh, naturally.
Right.
Sure.
There's some other things. I can't think of anything else that I want you to tell me. Can you think of any other things you'd want to tell me, Graham? That would be interesting? I know. When did you get married, Graham? Can't you tell? When did all that happen?
1918.
1919.
Why don't you go upstairs instead of stay there? That'd be just as good. I mean, you go upstairs and talk to yourself up there.
No.
1918. Yes, that's what that's the baby. I got married.
1918?
1918, yeah. That's when I got married.
What was it? How did that fit into your thing, Graham? I mean, where did you meet Graham? Here?
No. I met her in Buffalo.
In Buffalo?
Yeah.
And then you came back here, though?
Naturally, when I got married, then I moved here. This was my residence. This was my home. You know. In the 1925, actually, I built this house.
In 1925 you built this house?
1925, yeah.
You built it, Gramp?
I built it myself.
So that was, wait a minute, 1925, was that was before the Depression and all that then, was it?
Oh, yeah.
So you had this house and everything,
Oh, yes, yeah.
it was all yours before any of this other thing happened with the stock market.
Oh, yes, this was my house, yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah.
And then, Gramp, you said yesterday that the bank didn't make you give up this house because you put it under someone else's name.
Well, no, I was afraid that they'd probably sue me and they'd take the house. So I put it on somebody else's name in about a year and a half. So,
Just so that
made sure that I wouldn't lose the house.
Right. So once you started your own business then, Graham, ever since then, I mean, you've had to obviously work hard for every single thing that you've ever had.
You betcha.
But, I mean, it's a lot.
Nothing come easy.
I know.
Worked very hard, Sundays, nights, all the time. All the time.
And
In
really,
the phone business.
never really probably made all that much then, really, did you, Graham, until it must have been quite a few years before you even started.
Well, you see,
I mean, because at that time you couldn't have asked much because of the, I mean, you were still recovering from the Depression, weren't you, when you started your business?
well, the wasn't too much to recover because the only people that I owed was the bank. I didn't have any other debts. See, when I cleared up at the bank with $800, I was clear of everything, see? And as I say, and after that, then I started to play the stock market again, see? But I play a little bit different then, see? I bought stocks when I had money. When I didn't have any money, I didn't buy them. I didn't borrow the money like I did before. See? So I had money and I bought stocks. That's it. Then I owned them. See?
Right.
Nobody had any claim on it. You see what I mean? With the best way to do it. But before that, actually, I was playing with the bank. See? I borrowed my stocks and borrowed money from the bank. A certain percentage, and certain percentage was mine. A very small percentage was mine, maybe about 20%. And 80% was money from the bank. So I've been playing the stock market since for years and years.
That's amazing, Graham.
Up to this day.
Still today?
Oh, yeah, yeah. Up to this day. Yeah.
Philip said yesterday, he asked me, he said,
Who?
Philip and Chris were talking in the car yesterday on the way home, and they said, you know, that Graham, he's still playing those stock markets. I can just imagine that guy. I can't believe he's still doing it. They couldn't get over the fact that you were still. Hearing you tell her yesterday that you had played for so long, gotten into all that trouble, and still to this day you're still playing.
Oh, yeah.
So, is there anything else, Graham, would be good that you'd like to tell?
Well, really, I don't remember much of anything else to tell you, dear. Not really too much. The only thing I can tell you that I've been very fortunate in this country, and the Lord did with me, help me. I educated my 5 children. Each one got a college education. So, I mean, I had no complaints. Very, very, very fortunate.
That must have been, Graham, a big thing to you then, to have your own children educated because you didn't have an education yourself.
Well, that's the reason I insisted, see, that my family be educated very well. And something that I missed, and I didn't have an opportunity. I didn't have a father, mother here to tell me to go to school. First of all, I mean, I couldn't go to school because I had to work, trying to live. And at the time, school wasn't compulsory. See, so 3 days after I got here, I had to go to work, and that was it. I was never one day out of work, either working for somebody or in business for myself.
3 days after you got here, ever since that day.
Ever since I landed here, I haven't stopped working. I'm still doing it at 86 years old. So that's something.
It is, I think. Graham, did it matter that you didn't have an education then? Did it matter as far as what you made of yourself? It didn't really make much difference as long as you were a hard worker?
I was lucky enough to have had 4 years of school in the old country. That was my basic education. So from then on, whatever I know, whatever I learned it through myself. But I had really 4 years of Italian schooling. That was my beginning of the education. So the English language here, I picked it up all by myself.
And now look at this. Everything's reading.
So
all around it.
all my time I spent reading. I did this for years and years and years. Reading. All kinds of stuff. Mostly financial reading.
Thanks a lot. That's really...
Well, I mean, I don't know what else I can tell you. She's talking to herself now. So.
That's really different.
You don't remember the year that you can ask me, do you?
I can't really think of anything else. You covered practically everything.
Well, in conclusion, the only thing that I can advise you to be good, work hard in life, be honest and sincere, and I don't think that you'll have any trouble. When you follow the right path, you shouldn't have any trouble. Don't look for any anyway. Always do things in a conservative way so you don't get in trouble. Like a lot of people that look for trouble. They do things so they get in trouble. So don't do that, man. And I advise you that now. You're young, got a good many years to go. So follow the right path and you'll never get in trouble. So that's it.
Thanks,
That's it here.
Thanks, Graham.